Angel Reese is currently about to be suspended. She has 7 technical fouls on the season. And if this was last season, in a 44-game season, she would have already been suspended.
Due to her all-star appearance, Caitlin Clark would undoubtedly attract a lot of attention, which would result in significant sales. Angel Reese was recently suspended due to her stunning actions and frequent outbursts on the court. She truly believed that she was the WNBA's queen after hurling a sneaker and yelling, "I'm in your city." However, ratings fell as a result of Caitlin Clark's injury, and Reese's manufactured excitement pales in comparison to Clark's genuine star power.
WNBA All-Star Game sees ratings drop without Caitlin Clark, and it's ugly. It's real ugly. Who is
Angel Reese must have believed she had everything all out, right? Her great takeover moment was slated to occur during All-Star Weekend in 2025. This girl enters Indianapolis, Caitlin Clark's hometown, and acts as though she's going to take the title. Everywhere you look, billboards proclaim, "I'm in your city," as if she were the last boss in a Marvel film. The only thing you overcame, girl, was your own credibility. Because, let's face it, the moment Caitlin Clark pulled out, due to a groin injury, the entire phony "I'm that girl" plotline fell apart.
At the end of the day, she don't do those type of things. Yes, you hear me? Don't put that with her name. At the end of the day, if you be in a trap, that's your business. You hear me? Whatever the case may be, that ain't nothing to be proud.
At that point, the mask was removed. Reese needed to outshine the star. It turns out, wasn't even in the game. The experience was similar to entering someone else's home party, turning down the music and yelling, "I run this, the visitor doesn't." Care that you arrived and the actual host is in bed due to an injury, because guess what? The billboards, the uncomfortable slogans, and the marketing were of no interest to the audience. Caitlin Clark was important to them. That's why 3.44 million people watched the All-Star Game in 2024. However, it fell to 2.19 million this year while Clark was sidelined. That is a 36% decline. 36%. A PR staff is not necessary to decipher that. Common sense would suffice.
So the WNBA's All-Star Game went down 36%. That is a lot. That's more than a third from last year. Last year was over 3.4 million people.
Let's talk about ticket costs if the ratings weren't already impressive. The thing that genuinely indicates the number of actual people who care about showing up. Get-in costs for the All-Star Game fell from $121 to just $64 when Clark was ruled out. That represents a 48% decline. Overnight, half of the value disappeared, poof, as if scalpers themselves were not interested in the tickets. Make sure someone else shows up if you're going to steal their attention.
Big dogs are out. You got the Rook, you got Angel Reese, Miss Me Too. All of the stars are here, and look at this news. The get-in price for the WNBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis has dropped 48% from $121 to just $64 after news broke that Caitlin Clark won't be.
Instead, she walked confidently into Indy as if it were her runway. The show's only issue was that nobody was watching. Less boss attitude and more trying too hard energy characterized Reese's entire stroll in your trap. Take over your trap. Maneuver. Dominance was not blatantly obvious in the brand play. It was blatantly desperate. It wasn't her moment to shine. To borrow light, she came. Additionally, there was a power outage on the second, so Caitlin wasn't available to supply it.
Angel, meatbound, prayer, Reese. You only relevant because you keep bringing up my precious CC. You want to pull up with your billboard Reebok ad in Indiana talking about.
Let's now discuss the Reebok gamble. The biggest fashion faux pas of the year, the Angel Reese one was dropped. Yes, that is the shoe's true name because, over All-Star Weekend, modesty is obviously dead to colorways Diamond, Dust, and My. Bounce because the shoes can at least act like they're ice if the game isn't. Reebok launched a full-scale marketing campaign. Instagram loops, internet advertisements, billboards, the entire circus. Reese's face was painted over the city. Here's the worst part though. Again, the one name that mattered was missing, so none of it worked. Reebok was aware of it too. Do you believe that Shaq's brief stint in the Netflix doc was missed? The man actually stated that when Angel faces Caitlin Clark, he must be fully outfitted in Reebok gear when confronting Clark, not to lead the brand or appear famous. You all acknowledge it then, don't you? The goal of the entire campaign is to follow Clark's lead. The story isn't about Ree, the asterisk is her.
Caitlin Clark, the WNBA and all their pay us what you owe us action.
The launch relied on the presence of another person to validate it rather than her standing alone. However, Caitlin wasn't present. Suddenly, the fans weren't either. Social media caused the entire rollout to drag. There were more photographers than fans, according to those out here. It isn't a launch, that is an unattended news conference.
What's up, y'all? I just want to talk about this chick, Angel Reese, for a second. She has been all over my timeline, over my Twitter, or X, Instagram, TikTok. She's always pushing people and this and that. She's always in controversy. So let me address this situation real quick. How is she a professional athlete?
The WNBA then attempted to manipulate the data by claiming that the 2025 All-Star Games 2.19 million ticket sales were a victory of some kind because they were more than the 2023 tournament's 850K. It's a cool story, indeed. We're not comparing to 2023, though. This is in contrast to 2024, when Caitlin Clark set the league on fire. Fans aren't stupid, so you can try to avoid it. They perceive the game as a depressing replay in which the protagonist was absent. Her stat line was a ball movement and war crime. The Sky are out here disguising it as some adorable little facilitator function in order to hide it. She's not facilitating, please, she's making mistakes. To prevent the offense from collapsing like a folding chair, they had to conceal her under a false point forward disguise. She clogs every play, making you imagine the paint was hosting a traffic jam.
Sky, y'all stink, bro. Y'all, look, there's trash and then there's trash. You know what I'm saying?
And let's not even discuss the mess. Her double-doubles mysteriously wind up being inflated as a result of these self-assisted rebounds off her own bricks. Taking advantage of your own miss is not a scam, that's what janitors do, that is. Attempting to pass off cleaning up your own mess as production, and people fall for it somehow. She had 12 and 14. Yes, in addition, there were 9 turnovers and no awareness. It's similar to seeing someone smash a vase and then boast about how quickly they were able to pick up the pieces.
Everyone with credit card debt is lining up to get the Angel Reese signature shoe. Here it gives you the power of the rebound. Bang! Again! Burn! Will she save it? No! What everyone's paid to see, the Angel Reese rebound!
Her defense is performance art, if that's even what it is. She jogs back as if she were competing in a charity race rather than a professional league. Although she moves, there is no sense of urgency. The heart is ornamental. Her teammates are actually changing their spacing to stay away from her. They pause as if she were radioactive, as you can see. Every pass made towards her is a prayer. The slashes halt, and the enthusiasm wanes. It's survival, not chemistry. Don't allow me fall into her crossfire, please. Because she's throwing a wild layup if she doesn't flip it over. She travels. Well, she's not bricklaying. She is somewhere in the paint doing nothing but killing momentum if she isn't flailing.
Unable to move her opponent out of the way, Aneka Ogumike retaliates, grabs her by the hips, throws her to the floor, stands over her, screams on her, flips her the double bird. Quinterly, Dallas Wing's teammate, being a good teammate.
Leadership is not what this is. This is smiling sabotage. The tape doesn't lie, even though nobody wants to say it aloud. The only individuals who continue to defend this are either oblivious or holding on to whatever PR/Reebok enda. Wunba may still have. Playmaking is not Angel Reese's forte. She is a story twist and not a positive one. She is the type of person that spoils an episode. The real joke is that she continues to be promoted as the league's face and to accrue minutes and reps. However, every statistic, tape, and receipt all point to the same conclusion. The WNBA is not represented by Reese. The mask is her. The marketing facade, the unsuccessful attempt to establish a brand without the game itself to support it. Photoshop star power is not possible. Either you possess it or you do not.
She would have already been suspended. And it is genuinely one of the funny things about this is that her fans are arguing that none of the texts are warranted. They are all warranted.
And yes, Reed doesn't. Angel technical fouls have somehow become a highlight reel for Reed. We're not yet halfway through the season, and we've already received 7 texts. Under the 44-game regulation from the previous year, she is just one step away from an immediate suspension. Angel, congratulations. Though it won't be the kind of history you'd boast about, you're about to make it. Reese is on pace to surpass the league record for ticking off referees, while other players are attempting to shatter scoring records. She seems to be speedrunning her own demise. Make use of Caitlin Clark for the notorious clipboard slap comes. Next, who does that? Like a whiny child having a fit. You slap the clipboard out of your coaching staff's hands as they are drafting a play and attempting to salvage what's left of a broken game. This leadership style isn't fiery. It's not a spirit of competition, it's simply poisonous. The icing on the cake is that her team is behind by double digits as she is engaging in all of this post-whist and chirping. Read the room, girl, nobody. Enjoy seeing you brag while you're losing badly on the scoreboard. It lacks confidence. That is utterly irrational.
All warranted.
Without saying it out loud, Reese was even able to make a jab at the Indianapolis fan base. This was the most fun I've had in a while because of the players. She wrote on social media following the All-Star game, players are all caps, as if the fans weren't important. The irony? She found Indy fans to be genuinely kind. She wasn't being jeered as she left the building. They simply didn't care since Caitlin Clark was the only thing that mattered to them and she wasn't playing. Reese chooses to pretend that she is superior to the audience as a result. Newsflash, perhaps you should avoid upsetting the few. Fans who are still putting up with you when you're being harassed online every other week.
The lowest of the low disrespect that you can show to your coaching staff. She trying to get y'all locked in, worried about the next play, and you so toxic with your terrible, awful attitude that you slap.
Additionally, the entire "I'm running for your city," it's genuinely absurd. With that catchphrase, Angel Reese attempted to enter Caitlin Clark's backyard while Clark was hurt and watching from the sidelines. That isn't swagger, pretending. To win a battle and kicking an empty throne are equivalent to it. It's the worst kind of performative dominance. You can't defeat someone who isn't even participating. A city that was never yours in the first place cannot be taken over. It only made her appear like a supporting character who is frantically trying to convince everyone that she is the star. She isn't.
How in the world is this chick a professional athlete? She is, out of all the clips that I've seen, she is the worst basketball player I've ever seen.
The issue is that Reese's every mistake suddenly turns into a meme. In a matter of seconds, every technical, every brick, and every failure are shared on social media. Additionally, the receipts appear whenever her team or Reebok attempts to repair the harm. Your own game tape cannot be outmarketed. The turnovers, the attitude, and the phony excitement are all visible to the public. The truth always prevails, regardless of how many gaudy campaigns you try to push on us. Furthermore, the reality is harsh in Reese's case. Caitlin Clark, meanwhile, is functioning on an entirely different plane. Clark has an incredible 8-year, $28 million contract with Nike. Furthermore, it has nothing to do with her face being displayed on billboards. She's full venues, breaking ratings, and genuinely relating to fans, which is why she deserves every cent of that arrangement. It is based on years of steady domination, legendary performances, and genuine charm. That is the kind of organic star power that Reese can only imagine.
You hear me? And she has a $28 million Nike deal.
Now contrast it with the launch of Reebok's AR1. There was no conversion and only noise. Despite their best efforts, the timing of All-Star Weekend was horrible. The entire situation was linked to Clark's presence, and the tone was strange. The campaign as a whole collapsed without Clark. It appears as though Reebok placed all of their eggs in the "let's copy Clark" energy basket before letting it fall to the ground. Fans aren't drawn to Reese. The public isn't buying into the marketing tricks she's trying to put on them, literally.